Wait. Oh,
Here we go. Money Mind DNA. Hey, y'all ready to kick this off, fellas?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
It's time for another episode of the Daily K Podcast on KTTV.com with your host, Kendrick Thomas. Bridging the gap between the school and community, here's KT.
What it do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of the Daily K Podcast. And on tonight, this is a special episode because not only do I have Dr. Mikolai and Mr. Fatal of Money Mind DNA, it is also the season finale. So we're here to celebrate and get this thing kicked off. But first off, I want to say, what's going on, fellas?
Well, we are excited for a hockey game that's about to happen. That's happening right now.
Hey, look, that's what I say. Look, I appreciate it. We got NBA finals. We got the hockey we're going on. So, I thank you for the time that you're making. And we here, man, because it's all about propelling the business further and doing what it takes. Even this is one of them days you remember. So I guess just jumping into things. I like to do a little wellness check before we start off. How have you all been during this pandemic? And how y'all staying safe? I know, Mr. Charlie, you are in Canada. Where you at, Doctor?
same. We're both in the same place, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. One of
Okay.
the western provinces of Canada.
Yes. And so how have you all been up there staying safe throughout this pandemic and everything going on?
Sure.
Myself, I've been fine. That didn't impact me much. I'm a busy person. I do a lot of independent work already for my own business. Pandemic actually made things overall, yes, more challenging, but also more interesting because there was completely new source of information to educate myself. I have to steer into the world of pandemic so that I also participated in founding a business where we're doing some COVID-19 testing. So for me, it was not as challenging as I appreciate it has been for a lot of people. Some people obviously lost employment. Some people lost family members. So luckily for me, right, it hasn't been as bad as it could have been.
Yeah. For myself, as everybody knows, the markets have been wonderful. With the exception of the last 3-4 months, for the last 2.5, 3 years, the markets have been fantastic. A byproduct of COVID was a lot of the carriers, the companies I do business with, meaning the investment companies and insurance companies, that were they had processes for getting online application and online signatures. This COVID fast tracked everything because they wanted to continue to do business, so they were forced to have their systems implemented so that now we can work virtually. So for me, it really didn't affect my business because I went from doing 4 or 5 meetings a week. I could actually do more meetings because I didn't have to have the driving and all of those things and signing electronically. So for me, I was one of the people that were fortunately benefiting from this pandemic. Again, like Dr. Rasik said, that of course there are people that lost jobs, employment, and family members, which was devastating. But for me personally, it was actually a positive thing for the practice.
Yeah. And man, shout out to that market today. It was still pretty good today, though. I will take it. Over here, it has been rough on our side for the last few months as well. But today was a beautiful day, man. So I don't know what's happening over here. Probably be just a fake out breakout. But we'll take it. We'll take it, man. So I know you all are 2/3 of the team. So I guess as we talk about it, and we'll jump into the member that's not here today as well. But starting with you, Doc, give us a little background on your role inside of Money Mind DNA.
So myself, there's, like you mentioned, there's a triage. There's 3 of us, and we each take care of different department based on our own knowledge and expertise. So it's Money Mind DNA. Money is self-explanatory. Mind is self-explanatory. DNA, that's the component that I'm in charge of, and it relates to helping people with achieving their best physical well-being through mapping their DNA so they can actually look into the predictive potential of looking at your DNA to ensure you basically take care of your situation and the best you can for the future.
Come on, man. And so then now what happens when you get bad news? And is it sometimes when you look at the DNA and you be like, yeah, this don't look too good. What happened then, Doc?
It depends on the situation. You can have bad news, but where intervention is available to you. So there's something you can actually do about it right away and prevent the negative outcomes in the future. That's really the golden ticket. This is really what you want the most out of DNA. Yes, you can get bad news for untreatable condition, untreatable disease. So think of and they're usually late onset. So think of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or the worst one, the one that people are most afraid of is Huntington's disease. But even that, I personally think, is valuable, provided you have the will to handle that kind of information. And I appreciate it's not for everyone, but if you can handle that type of information, the reason why I think it's valuable is because if you're facing this inevitability that, hey, your genetics predispose you to that high risk of maybe developing this condition, then you can then participate in clinical trials. Without having that information, you would never look for that opportunity at all, because why would you? I mean, have either one of you ever looked at any clinical trials and wonder, I should participate? Well, no, of course not. You have no reason for it, right? But if you knew the reason for it, because you found out, hey, I have a genetic predisposition, then you could do that. And so that's something that could immediately benefit you potentially, because with clinical trials, as you probably already know, that's where we test novel therapies that eventually are supposed to come out to the rest of the world. So such therapies normally would not be available to the public for many, many years. Mm-hmm. The reason why I say normally, because we just saw an experience with vaccination where it was massively fast-tracked, but typically it takes very, very long time. So then you can, if you participate in clinical trials, you could have access to novel therapeutics. So that's one option. And the other one is, of course, figuring out, and this is someone like Charlie comes in, who's going to take care of you eventually. So determining basically who's going to be the attorney determining your managing your estate, basically, if you will.
Long-term care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. The power of attorney and personal directive. All of that could be set up. And a lot of people don't think about that up front. Why? Because clearly none of us wants to think in terms of mortality. None of us really think, I better prepare for that death tomorrow, right? We don't want to do that, right?
No.
Although I appreciate that it's prudent to do that.
Man, and so then, like you say, that's where Charlie comes in with with just that finance side. So DNA kind of gets you on the fast track, kind of gets you ahead of, hopefully, whatever's coming, or either push you on a reaction state. But as we're working through that, then Charlie, how do you come in and play inside of the Money Mind DNA role?
Sure. So my part is really the money. And so here's the perspective I need you guys to think about, is that in your life, how often have you been educated on the credit system, the investment world, the tax world, the insurance world? What do you know about it? If you had to rate yourself from a 1 to a 10, where would you rate your knowledge in all those areas? And then the second thing is, how important are those things in your world right now, right? How often are you using credit? How often are you investing? How often do you pay taxes? So if you had a little bit more knowledge in all of those areas, how different could your life look? So essentially what I'm doing is, I'm going to go in with a business owner and I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Business Owner, I'm going to structure a financial plan, investment plan, a tax plan for the business. I'm also going to sit down with you, and I'm going to sit down with everybody from the C-suite all the way down to the people that clean the floors and do those service work. And I'm going to structure a financial plan for all of you guys so that you're all properly insured. You're all buying high quality investments. You're all using the tax system according to what you can legally do and minimizing the kind of taxes you're paying. So how different does your life look if you have those tools and you have someone that is considered an expert in those areas in your back pocket and access to that guy all the time to help you out? how different would life look for you?
Yeah. Come on, man. That's it right there. And so, like two great pieces of the business. And so thinking of Dr. Gans,
Yes.
who's not here. So, like you say, man, look at Doc, man. He says a triage. Hey, look, I'm thinking the trifecta. So now
So-
with you all, what'd you say, Doc?
Yeah, well, Gans does the mind part, so he fills in terms of mental well-being.
Yeah.
So he's a psychologist. He collected and built a bunch of little tricks and built systems in order to make sure we can teach people what they can do so they can basically push stress aside, if you will, to the best of our abilities, so that you can live stress-free life and don't have that mental agony over the everyday struggles that we all experience that unnecessarily burden us down. So
And
that's
one
why
of
we're
his-
trying
his-
to take
his
care of
main-
some of the biggest impacts.
And his main focus is prevention. So getting ahead of things. So if you have a kid that's 12 years old and you kind of see they're going sideways a little bit, you can either just let it go, or you can say, hey, let me intervene. Let me jump in here and try to get you back on track. So for your own personal health, your own mental well-being, it's like if something is happening, rather than waiting 3, 4, 5, 10 years to deal with it, hey, let's deal with it now. Let's try to curve everything back. So again, it's our entire existence from our company is from a business standpoint. You are the business owner and you're hiring us to do this for all of you and all of your employees. So you see an employee and you're saying, wait a minute, employee number 16, the production numbers were here, everything was here, but I'm seeing something is sliding. What should you do? Just allow it to slide and continue on? Or you want to intervene and say, hey, let's bring you back on track, because something that might take 1 or 2 hours now, instead of taking 50 hours 3 years from now. So this is what Gans's approach is. It's the me factor, and it's preventing and getting people back in line so they can live a high quality life with enjoyment.
Man, that's it, man. So what we'll do is I want to get into one of our sponsors. And when I get back, I want to talk, now that we know a little bit more about you all, I want to get into the business, right? Because I know you all are in Canada. So how are you serving people? Pretty much, is it a combo of services? So what we'll do is we'll do this real quick, and then we'll be right back, man. It shouldn't be hard for families to get the best education for their kids. Nor should schools struggle to take care of their families. If a school uses the right systems, it can be easy to take care of families and keep your energy focused on your students. A school's relationship with the new family starts as soon as they apply. Why not give them your best from the very beginning? Align partners with schools to make sure that each family has the best experience applying, managing finances, and staying involved in their child's education. Align gives school administrators what they need to take care of their families, manage growth, communicate efficiently, and get paid on time. Learn more at alignmyschool.com. All right, man. Jumping back into things. Look, man. Hold up, man. I gotta find Doc. I think we lost him, man. Uh-oh. Okay, you see? Yeah, I think we lost him, man. We're gonna wait on him to see if he can log back in.
Okay.
Look, man, but so jumping back into things, right? I tell my friends all the time, we got to normalize getting together, talking business, talking investments. So thinking about you all getting together, getting ready to start Money Mind D8, dude, what was that conversation like, and who was the person that held the idea first?
I think we'll give the credit to Dr. Rashik. So it was his event where the three of us met. And so he had put on an event for some physicians and clinic owners, when he was marketing his DNA sequencing. And obviously it makes sense to align with physicians that are the ones that actually have to get the results and discuss the results with the patients. So he put on this event and he asked me to come along and do a financial presentation and talk about some financial products that might be relevant to them. And so Dr. Gans was there as well. And we just happened to talk and we just connected. And then we had met a few more times, and we kind of once we understood what each other does, we said, man, it would be so cool if we could work together. But then you're like, I'm a psychologist, I do DNA sequencing, I'm a financial advisor. How the heck can we collaborate? And we just thought, who would benefit from all three of our services? And we're like, well, who would? And somehow through brainstorming, we came up with business owners. And just imagine the thought of, you have a business, there's business A and there's business B. Business A is proactive, and they say, you know what, we're going to hire MoneyMind DNA, and we're going to bring these guys in to work with our people for the next 6 months. And we're going to have everybody in our company is going to have a structured financial plan. They're going to have resources to manage their debt, purchase a home, buy proper insurance, which takes away stress, proper investments, takes away stress, and have a proper retirement plan so they know they don't have to work there forever. All of a sudden they have that. And then they have a resource when it comes to their mental health, where whatever's happening in their home or personal life or business life, arguments with the spouse, co-worker, whatever it might be, they have a resource to deal with it. Maybe trauma that happened years ago that is still undealt with. Now they have a resource to deal with it. And the very last thing was Dr. Rasik, when he came to our group, is having your DNA sequence. What the heck is in me? What challenges could I be facing down the road? And when I know what those potential challenges could be, how do I deal with it now? Now that's business A. Now think about business B that doesn't do any of this. Do you feel that you would have a little bit of a competitive advantage? Do you feel that your retention will be a little bit higher? Do you think your production will be a little bit higher? Your profitability will be a little bit higher? So this is our program, is to help business owners ultimately make more money, keep their staff, retain their staff, and have happier, healthier working environments for everybody. That's the goal.
That's it. And Doc, Doc, you told me it was your brainchild to get everything going, man. So awesome ideas on just being the person to put it together. So now when you think about businesses, the pandemic came, everybody went virtual. How did it go during the pandemic? And are you all serving people outside of Canada?
So with the current program we're discussing, or with my typical business that I'm dealing with?
Well, right now with the program for the MoneyMind DNA, how do you all serve? And then I guess we can talk about both. Yes.
So with the program, the challenge would be, typically, of course, our goal is to service Canadians first and foremost. And the reason why is because of Charlie, right? Because he has to be licensed to be able to help people, and he's licensed in Canadian territory.
Yeah.
So that's the natural limitation. Because of that, we have to stick to Canada. Myself, though, my contracts are also that I have with the companies where we employ DNA testing. They're also for Canadian territory. Yes, we could help international people, but then it just becomes a completely different service than what I typically would be offering.
Yeah.
So then it's just more convoluted, if you will.
Yeah.
So what I'll add is that this is now. So as our business grows, and we all have our individual businesses and practices but as things grow, our long-term growth is to have a global exposure, because we feel that this could be like, imagine, companies with 10,000 employees plus that employ a service like this. Again, it's going to be one of those things where we're giving them that competitive advantage. So as of now, we can serve the Canadian marketplace, but in the coming future, whether it's months or years from now, the goal is going to be expanding it to the US and then branching out from there.
And so then I come in and I only want to focus on the money side. Can I just do that, or does it come all as a tandem? Like I got to invest in each piece?
Yeah, good question. So initially, the business has to purchase the package. Now, if you purchase the package and you go through our process, we have our process is a six individual meetings where each of us has an opportunity to take a lead twice. And then once you kind of get through that, this is more of the information side where we're saying, here's what we do. And we go into detail about each one of our expertise. And then after you go through the program, they'll say, hey, you know what? Maybe somebody already has a fantastic financial advisor that they've had for 5 or 10 or 20 years. that they're doing fantastic with. And they're like, I want the program, but I don't want the money side of it. But I'd like to get my DNA sequence, and I want to have some resources for my mental health. Definitely, they can piecemeal after that. But initially, you have to purchase the program, and then from there, you can look at doing individual pieces from there.
Yeah, that's it, Doc. And so with that, Doc, I was looking at the accomplishments, man, just reading up on some of the work. Look, man, you're a bad man, with this genome and the sequencing. So look.
Definitely unusual, very esoteric.
So now, how does, and you may have already said it, but just I need a little bit more clarification. So, one does, maybe so many. How does your role of the sequencing play into the psychology piece and the finance piece?
So one way is, of course, well, we are interlinked. Of course, one way it's the whole concept that we're trying to promote as holistic well-being as possible. So even if we were independent of one another, we still come together as a holistic piece. But we are interlinked. So mental, for example, you can take a DNA test that tells you how you as an individual will respond specifically to different medications based on your genetics. This is called pharmacogenetic DNA testing. And the largest group of medications that have been worked out, how you as an individual respond to medications, are medications for mental health, for example. So I have a direct link to Dr. Gans in such a manner. With Charlie, I already mentioned to a degree, you could in Canada, genetic information is protected by law. You could investigate yourself. What are your genetic predispositions? Insurance has no right to have an access to that information at all. So you could use that information preemptively to insure yourself against conditions that are in your genetics. Now, insurance companies obviously do not favor this. They were very much against this because that's exactly what they worry about. But personally, I do support it because genetics is not something we selected when we were born with. We are born the way we're born. That's Mother Nature's at work. It's variable, of course, from person to person. It's totally a random chance whether one person might have slightly worse genetics in terms of health outcomes than the other. So that's you can now play the system to some degree. You could find out where your predispositions are and insure yourself. Now, what insurance companies argue about is that, hey, if people do this, and no one is doing this yet, if people do this, then premiums will go up. And I say, yeah, right on, perfect. Let the premiums go up, because if they do go up, they're going to increase only marginally across the population, but we're going to protect the most vulnerable, which right now, if their family history is not favorable, insurance is like, no, we're out, right? If your family history is okay, but you have genetic predisposition, then you can do something. And one of the best insurance vehicles that I personally always recommend, and again, this is where Charlie comes in, and I recommend it even before doing your own genome, is get a critical illness insurance. The reason why is because critical illness insurance protects you financially from negative outcomes from some of the most common problems that we actually are at the highest risk of experiencing in our life, which is cancer, stroke, heart attack. And if you were to experience any of these and survive within 30 days, then you get lump sum of money. Then you can, if you're dealing with cancer, then at least you can afford some of these very expensive DNA tests. Cancer DNA testing, when we're talking about testing biopsies, can be very, very expensive. Typically, it's not too expensive, but when it comes to cancer, it can go up really quick. So those are the links. I know it seems like, hey, how, but they are we are interconnected.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I think it kind of evens the playing fields a little bit, because when you apply for insurance, the insurance company gets to do all kinds of underwriting on you and to determine whether or not they want to give you insurance. So now you, as an individual, can say, hey, I'm going to go and do some underwriting on myself. And now that I know there's a high risk of me getting cancer or this or that, now I'm going to go purchase this policy because I don't have to release that information to them, but I already know it. So he makes a really good point there that insurance companies can't say, hey, by the way, we need to look at your DNA sequencing that you had done last year before we make a decision. They can't use that information against you.
Man, look,
Not in Canada. It's against
I
the law.
I'm very motivated. Look, so now thinking about resources, man, do y'all have anything on the website? Any free resources as far as more information about any parts of the business?
The best resource to remember in the world: moneymindDNA.ca.
And the nice thing is, on those links, because we all have individual practices, you can go on there and actually then go onto my website or Mikolai's website. If you wanted to learn a little bit more about each of us individually, you can go onto our own individual websites and take a look there. But of course, we want to encourage people to say, hey, go check out Money Mind DNA first. But if you have more interest on the DNA sequencing side, absolutely. Go check out Mikolai and his site and learn more about it, if that's the resource you want to pursue more.
Yeah, it is. And Kid, I was saying, this is all excellent information. I agree. I told you I'm very inspired. All right, man. Well, look, we're gonna, this is the season finale, man. So we're gonna wrap this thing up with the good season finale video. I know that you guys are about to get to this game, so I do understand if you're gonna step out during this video. So before you do go, drop us the information one more time. Starting with you, Doc.
Charlie, you go ahead.
All right.
Pretty simple. MoneyMindDNA.ca.
Come on now.
That's it.
That's
MoneyMindDNA.ca.
All right. Well, look, man.
Sounds so much sexier when he says it. Damn it.
No, your accent is way better, brother. Your accent, Mikolai, you say that.
Hey, man. Well, I sure appreciate y'all for taking some time out, man. I look forward to sharing this. Yeah, man. And I will be in touch to learn a little bit more about that sequencing, Dr. Mikolai. I need to do a little few of that over here in the States, man.
Go
you got
oil,
our
go.
contact.
Go oil, go.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who y'all going for? So y'all got hockey tonight. We Oilers.
We go for the
Edmonton
Oilers.
Oilers are playing Avalanche, Colorado Avalanche right now.
Okay, so we're about to go for that. And who we got on the NBA?
Oh, I'm Warriors all the day. All
Okay.
day. All
All
day.
right.
Warriors,
Well,
Warriors. Steph Curry's my man.
Hey, man, well, we will follow up when this is over with. I appreciate y'all for stopping in, fellas.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right, now. All right, y'all. Y'all know this is the season finale. And so what we're going to do is I had a few friends of mine. They came through and put together a few things for me. So y'all check this out.
Hi, I'm Dr. Darlene Bro, and I am the Vice President of the Alief ISD School Board. I have known Kendrick for a little over a decade, and I am just so impressed and proud of him, his leadership, his ability to connect with the community, with fellow educators, and also the students, the impact that he's made on so many lives. I've been on his show a couple of times as a guest, and the insightful questions that he asks, and also the content, the relevant content that he has on his show. I am just so incredibly proud of Kendrick, and I would like to say great job and congratulations on your season finale.
Hi there, I'm Coach Sheila, host and creator of the CEO Circle Live. Wishing Kendrick Thomas with KTT TV best wishes. Man, I am super excited for everything that you are doing. You are doing an awesome job in this media world. I love your show. I was so excited and delighted to be a guest on KTT TV. Keep doing you, keep doing your best, and well wishes to you.
What's up, Kendrick? It's Crystal Victoria from Target Evolution Inc. Reaching out to shout you out and say thank you for the opportunity for interviewing us, for all of your support. We truly appreciate you. I can't wait to see what you do and who you have on the show for next season. And congrats on an amazing season finale. Keep doing you, and thank you again for all your support.
Hi, Kendrick, KT. This is Dr. Teresa Smith, Dr. Taz in the kitchen. And I'm here in my kitchen because that's where we were earlier this year. You were a guest on my show, Transform with Taz, and you were such a blessing to my audience. And I just want to say to you, you have had a very, very successful season. Thank you for letting me be a part of your show. And thank you for never giving up on our communities and on our youth. You are a bright beacon of hope for so many individuals. So congratulations on a wonderful season. And we know there are going to be many, many more to come. Thank you for all that you do. And again, thank you for being a guest on my show, Transform with Taz, here in Raleigh, North Carolina. As always, take care of you. Bye now.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kelly Brown. I'm an assistant professor at Lamar University. I'm the principal consultant of One World Consulting. I would like to say thank you for another great season. I really appreciate the work that you do to highlight the voices of people in and around the Houston area, as well as what you do in education. So I hope you have a restful break and looking forward to the next season. Bye.
My name is Olivia Cook, also known as Coach Liv. I am a transformational success coach, podcast host, motivational speaker, and Christian influencer. And I was on KTTV a few months back, and I must say it was one of my most memorable experiences. You know, Kendrick really takes his time to get to know his guest and also just provide so much information to his listeners and viewers. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely need to.
Hey guys, it's your coach, your friend, your girl, Coach Rena JD, International Change Agent. I am the president and CEO of Rena JD Enterprises, and I was a guest on Daily K Podcast with KT. Let me tell you, we had an amazing time discussing managing expectations. Let me tell you, our talk was so good. We ran through time, overtime, and out of time on that time. I mean, it was an amazing discussion. If you missed it, shame on you. Go back and catch the recap. But guess what? We are at the season finale. So congratulations, Kendrick. You did it. You did it, my brother. And it's wonderful meeting you. Have me back again so we could talk about some yummy goodness. Again, this is your coach, Rena JD. Talk to you guys soon. Mwah. Love you. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, I'm Nakia Franklin of Brave Enterprises, Brave Moms Speak Up, and of the Real and Raw Talk Show with Nakia Franklin and Von Greta. I am so excited of KT and the season finale. I just wanted to say that his episodes have been amazing. They have been informative. I appreciate the guests that he brings on. They're authentic, they're transparent, they talk about real issues, real concerns, and they bring the truth and the facts to the table. So KT, congratulations. I'm so excited for you and your season finale. I wish you well with all of your endeavors. I know you are doing it big and you're expanding and you're maturing and growing in every aspect of the way. Keep doing it big, keep expanding, keep doing all of the great things that you anticipate doing. I appreciate your support system that is really helping you mold yourself into this amazing human being. So congratulations. Again, this is Nakia Franklin with Brave Enterprises and Brave Moms Speak Up and the Real and Raw Talk Show with Nakia Franklin and Von Greta. Have an amazing day.
All right, y'all. That is it for season 8 of the Daily K Podcast. I want to shout out to everybody for tuning in. We coming back harder next season. This is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood. This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
KTTV.
KTTV.